Hello there, this is going to be a very sad video about map hacking in Company of Heroes 2. It is the opinion of myself, other tournament organisers and top players that Company of Heroes 2 is a compromised game. You can get map hacks for it, you can get other kinds of hacks for it, and they aren't detectable by the developer Relic Entertainment at this current point in time. As organisers and referees, etc., of community events, we've tried to get this sorted through official channels, and unfortunately that did not bear fruit. Relic require higher burden of proof these days than community member opinions based on circumstantial video-based evidence. It seems that more hardcore detection is necessary. I'm not too sure, to be honest, and I don't want to make this video about slating Relic. It's not about that. This is a functionary video, because it's fallen upon us now to sort this out for ourselves. And I'm here representing Stern Panther and Curry in particular, referees and organisers as well, and also many other people in the community that have seen this evidence. So this isn't AE banning somebody, this is just I'm the spokesperson here, and hopefully that's how it's seen, because I don't need this stress, quite frankly. This is a hobby that's meant to be for fun. For me personally, I want cool stuff to cast. I take no pleasure in this whatsoever, especially given the fact that the player was the finalist in the ML4 tournament, and I personally was enjoying his rise to glory and a lot of his play. Now, I'm sure you're itching to see the evidence, and I know this is going to cause a shitstorm, and I apologise for that. But I believe in openness and transparency. The end result of this is that this player will be suspended with a chance to appeal. So nothing is in concrete yet. It's not a perma-ban from community members to each other. This is just a suspension from Master League tournaments, which is as far as I personally can go, giving the player the chance to appeal. But given the evidence, in my opinion, there isn't much room to appeal, but we'll see. And I am inviting you as a viewer to make your own mind up. Do not be swayed by the evidence, and do not unnecessarily be cynical. Wait till you've seen all yourself. Watch the evidence in full screen, and really probably put yourself in the mind of a top player and how you navigate the screen, etc. So let's go over to my monitor now, and I'll just show you the people that have already viewed the evidence. You've got 4 of the most experienced referees and organisers, the 3 most experienced tournament casters, Tightrope, myself, and Stormless, and then 3 former world champions, and of course Nagano as well, who's top won many majors. A lot of the 2 of the Korean players, for whom cheating is enshrined in South Korean law, as in you actually can't do it for legal purposes, which is interesting. Brosras Artovic, 2v2 partners that actually came up against this and were first to report it, and rightfully so, etc. You've got some excellent people that have looked at this and put their name to their verdict, which it takes a lot of courage. Some others, such as Sanders, weren't prepared to do so because they didn't have the experience, but every other person asked gave it a verdict of cheating, bar one, and that's fair enough. He himself thought it was very suspicious. And I can vouch for previous processes that I've never seen this before. I have been involved in 2 or 3 processes on players before where we've looked at evidence, namely Quirits recently, and that was incredibly easy we showed it to a few people and everybody came to the same verdict. It was very easy to analyse his play and give a logical explanation as to why he did what he did at that point in time. In the following videos, you cannot do the same, in my opinion, although I invite you to draw your own conclusions. This is the first bit. Oh, I should add, by the way, there's the ability in Company Heroes hard-coded in the game to follow the camera of a particular player. That's ticked, and we have Seeking with the yellow brackets around his name showing that he is the designated player. And in this video, we toggle Fog of War.
Bravely for the Reich. The enemy is down to 200 points.
It's worth mentioning that those M42s were cloaked and they hadn't fired for a few minutes at that time. I think it was like 3 minutes or something. So their position should not have been known, especially within the fog of war. The next is sniper-based evidence, which actually usually requires a high level of game knowledge in order to assess. Of course, you have to keep your sniper alive, away from enemy counter snipers, and position. And this is where often that map hackers are revealed, because it's so intense to keep a sniper alive, and any fog of war based information is, or in this case lack of, would therefore be helpful. So let's have a look at this.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
This is a very long video and includes a lot of stuff like that, but that was one of the most glaring examples. Let's go on to this one, which is possibly an example of how a player, a very intelligent player, playing in competitive conditions, would want to gain an advantage with map hacking, whilst making it look realistic, quite frankly, which is the big problem that we've had as a community for the last several years with map hacks being available. So that's the way I'm going to frame it, but obviously keep an open mind and be suspicious of everything I say. Remain cynical is what we've been telling everybody, to ensure that the opinions aren't clouded. But that's the way I see this, but make your own mind up. So you can see there that the Folks Grenadiers are already packing up their weapons upon the point at which the Pathfinders emerge. And there's a lot of that, especially in the... You can see the animation there. So it's a lot of that, especially in the ML4 tournament. There's actually an example somewhere where it's before they emerge from the fog of war. I did assemble some clips basically for this video, but there's around 30 to 40 clips in total. Now, oh, and by the way, we've done testing to show that fog of war is aligned in replays and in live, and it is. We've done extensive testing actually showing that you can replicate the exact fog of war and range scenarios of the site, rather the site range. You can show it and replicate it. So just giving you a bit more information there from a 2 versus 2 game. There's a lot of clips like that where it could either be incredible game sense. You know, I hide whilst your MG is set up, and then as soon as it starts to pack, I move. But to be quite frank, there's about 10 clips of that in the past couple of weeks. You know, this is another example of the exact same kind of activity.
Враг захватывает нашу территорию.
Now, this is an example from the account Deadbolt, which, as you may have heard, is very associated with Seeking because he admitted to playing on this account, you know, during the time periods that these replays were captured and the clips were captured. So let's have a look at the clip. I think that one speaks for itself. And then you've got this from just a couple of days ago versus the Angry Dutchman, who was streaming at the time.
The bunker is now a field hospital. We have a full complement.
And there were about 4 moments in that particular game, but that one stood out because, of course, watching retreating units and setting an MG up just in time to catch the re-emergence of the conscript. Of course, a lot of this can be explained via incredible game sense or incredible luck, except for the fact that there's every single game that wasn't watched by a referee on camera. Every single game has examples of it in, and there's just so many to go through. There were 2 Google documents full of replay action. There are lots of playlists, and I'm sure that some of them are just innocent game sense. This guy's a very good Company Heroes 2 player, but so many of them are incredibly fishy, and some just downright ludicrous, quite frankly. That's there's no other logical explanation. It's not personal. It's not a vendetta or a witch hunt or get your pitchforks out. Let's burn the witch. It's not like that. It's just we're doing a job of protecting the integrity of Company Heroes tournaments. And that brings me on to Company Heroes tournaments. This is going to affect how the community run things. We are going to have to be a lot more careful now, and we are going to have to up the ante as far as covering for ourselves. We're going to have to create more stringent processes internally between community members, like kind of very similar to what we've done here, but this was organic. But we need this level of organisation, otherwise quite frankly, we will be left exposed, and the tournament scene as we know it will be exposed and will be unplayable. A lot of the players involved in this process just straight up put their hands up without dramatic saying, I'm not playing this in the future. From Isilda downwards, every single one said, you know, if this tournament scene becomes like this, it's all about map hacking and, you know, and no actions and stuff, it's going to be unplayable. And I agree. I've got no passion or interest in organising tournaments without that level of cover. You know, I personally, I ask people to donate on Patreon, and all that money will go to players' pockets. Well, I feel like a guardian of those funds, and rightfully so, and it just makes me want to, you know, close up shop, quite frankly. But there will be actions regarding this, so we're going to do that suspension thing. Kimbo as well. Kimbo was the common denominator in some even worse footage of like this new Smurf account that literally is just whizzing around the map. He's played with Deadbolt and Seeking in games where they've map hacked, or allegedly map hacked. Sorry. So he's the common denominator, and he's already kind of a probationary figure that was like voted into playing tournaments again under strict rules. So I think it's right that we suspend Kimbo and ask him some questions, or I'll have a conversation with him rather and get some, you know, maybe some assurances. I don't know. But Seeking's suspension will turn into a permanent ban from community tournaments, giving him the chance to appeal and to talk through his side. And this is a public process because the word was going to get out anyway. But, you know, hopefully people understand, and hopefully people give it the time to look at the evidence themselves and put together their own thoughts. Next is, with regards to Relic Entertainment, I think in the past they've been a bit more community inclusive or community trusting in their processes. I think they're going through I don't know this for certain, but they may be. I think they've had a new community manager recently, or one or two actually, and they're probably going through process iteration. So of course they should be given benefit of the doubt, but in the meantime, the community obviously will look after itself and police itself in this case, which is not fun. I mean, maybe if this was my job, this would be okay, but I know I and a lot of the referees and a lot of the players take absolutely no pleasure in this whatsoever. It isn't enjoyable. So of course, Seeking and Kimbo will be unavailable for the upcoming Master League tournament, pending further review. And yeah, it's a shit video to talk you guys through, and it's not, only so much time can be dedicated to preparing all of the clips. I've put together 4 or 5. There's one I probably wouldn't have included in hindsight. It's a bit more not quite as obvious, but there are around 30 to 40 clips in total. So if you are interested in seeing the more salacious side of the community, you have that at your disposal now to make your own mind up and to form your own opinion. Please feel free to write it in the comments of this YouTube video or on the Discord in the general channel, or wherever you need to vent. It's a very sad and toxic thing to discuss. There will be a lot of opinions both ways, but it is just what it has to be. And as guardian of community funds in this case, I don't know how much longer if this carries on, to be honest. But as that guardian, I feel it's my duty to take this action today and talk you guys through what we've decided as a community. All right, and thanks for watching, and cheers.